Howdy all, this is Shane, and I wanted to put a list together of the things I learned in 2012. Now this covers a whole broad range of things, and I just wanted to share with you some of what I've come across. The first thing is P90 pickups are awesome. I've never used them until 2012, and wow, where have they been? My Gibson Studio Gold Top with P90s is just killer. I can't believe how good that thing sounds. Pickups just have their own vibe. It's sort of single coil, well they are, but it's just fatter and thicker. And where have they been my whole life? I absolutely love them. Now a lot of people think that the rail pickups for Stratocasters don't sound very single coil, but after being a normal Strat with my Stratocaster with Johnny Highland D-Allen noiseless pickups, wow. I gotta say, D-Allen have made an awesome pickup, and you should check them out. The thing is, they don't look like a conventional single coil, but they do absolutely sound like, and I was stunned to see how much better my actual Strat sounded. So check them out, they're worth checking out. Another thing that I realized is a lot of tube screamers sound identical to each other. And if they don't immediately sound identical to each other, you can then tweak them to make them sound pretty much the same as each other. You don't really need more than one or two tube screamers, and I don't really put them in the same category as overdrive pedals. I think overdrive is maybe a separate thing. Even though a tube screamer is an overdrive pedal, there's different forms of overdrive, but in conventional tube screamer style, they all pretty much sound the same. You can get some that have like a bass boost feature or whatever, or an extra control, but generally the three control ones are all the same. Doesn't matter how much you spend. Now I bought a 2-rock amplifier last year, and I've got to say, the thing that I learned from that experience was that hand-wired amplifiers are like so much louder than standard amps. I have a deluxe reverb, which I absolutely love that amp. It's the same wattage as the 2-rock, and the 2-rock is so much louder. It's almost like a 45 to 50 watt amp. It absolutely just blows your ears if you crank it right up. It sounds amazing, and I'm not going to compare it to the Fender amp because I like them both, but I did compare them on a video, so you can check that out if you choose to. Now I had a Gibson ES335 for about 4 years, and I could just never get a good sound out of it. Well, that's not completely true. I got a decent sound out of it a couple of times, but I was never really that happy. It sounded kind of like there was a wet tea towel or something over the pickups. It was dark and muddy and weird, and I could just never get it to sound bright and chimey at all, like I'd heard on some other recordings or different artists I listened to. I didn't want that dark woolly tone, and I found out that Tokai guitars are amazing. They are built on the Gibson spec back in the 50s. They sound amazing, they're lighter. What can I say? I'm sold. I think I can see why a lot of guys are using Tokai over Gibson. Not to say that all Gibsons are bad, because they're not. I have a Gibson guitar as well, my Gold Top, and I absolutely love that. I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. So certain Gibson 335s that were made recently, like mine was a 2008, it has absolutely nothing on this guitar, and I was lucky enough to test a 2008 model in the shop when I went and got my Tokai. So Tokai guitars, very cool indeed. Alright, another thing I learned was that pedal boards make life a lot easier. Yeah, there's a bit of ridicule sometimes for blues guys who carry around pedal boards, but I have everything that I need or that I want for that gig on a board. It's all wired up. I don't have to sit on the ground and fiddle with cables and make sure everything's connected. And I can't really imagine not having it at a gig now, because it's just so simple. I just set up everything and it all works. All the patch cables are done, everything's done, and it's never let me down. It's funny, after having like 20 amplifiers, I gotta say that Blues Junior amps just absolutely rock. And I'm really happy that I bought that gold edition. It sounds fantastic, and what can I say? It's sort of like, it sounds like going backwards in some ways when I've got other great amps. But it's super cool. I've used it at gigs, and when you start pushing it towards the edge of its output volume, when you kick a pedal on it, it takes off. It's really cool. And that gold edition, having the greenback speaker, actually has a bit more headroom, I think, too, so they're really loud. Yeah, they're small, they're light, they're great for jamming around the house, great for small gigs. They sound awesome mic'd up, and I'll probably record with it this year too. And something one of my friends told me, Rick, who also does demos on my channel, he said that practice fixes most tonal problems. And that's absolutely right, if you play well. Now, if you play well, you're not really gonna have too many problems with tone. Sure, you might not like the sound maybe as much as what you could if you tweaked with it, but generally, good playing makes good tone. And a lot of that comes from your fingers, you know, your attack, and also from just playing and practicing and working on things and developing your sound. So I totally agree with him on that. Now, one thing that took me a while to get was reliable and quality cables. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on my cables, but I finally got some that were made in Germany that I really, really like. The name escapes me right now, but the fact is that they're really good there. They don't have any handling noise, there's no crackle or anything from them, and I really feel that, you know, to get the full sound of my guitar, you have to have decent cables. There's a few, you know, cheaper brands that you can get that just don't really do it, and it's only until you use a good cable and you go back to a crap one you realize all the shielding problems become apparent, any handling noise becomes apparent, and yeah, so get some good cables if you can. I'd like to thank everybody again for 2012. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to be doing a whole lot more pedal demos coming up really soon. I got a Brent Mason pedal I'm about to demo from Dr. Rick, so thanks for that. Stay tuned for a whole lot more this year. Cheers all. See ya.